Lee from FUCA.
Thanks a lot. Matthew Lee, Intercity Press. On behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access, thanks a lot for this briefing. I actually want to ask, I want to ask about UNAMID, because there's been a lot of discussion here at headquarters about, first there was the whistleblower who said that attacks on civilians and on peacekeepers themselves were being underreported, and more recently there's this issue of rape in Tabet. And so I wanted to know, I mean, you were talking about gender approaches. What do people not understand? Some people, including on the Security Council, feel that the mission should have said that it was surrounded by Sudanese military officials when they visited and said that no rape had occurred. And what can be done now to actually get in there? What do you learn from that situation? And Mr. Feller, last year when you were here, I asked you about a particular case of a UN police officer in Haiti who had been repatriated to Canada under allegations of sexual abuse and exploitation. At that time, it was said that it was still under the investigation of the police contributing country. So I'm wondering now, it's a year later, what does UN police understood happened, and was in fact discipline? Was the person cleared? Was the person disciplined? What happened in that case? Thanks.
Okay. The thing on Tabet, I think we have to realize that we are working in a very politically volatile situation, and where we are still having very strong spoilers versus a government who wants to take control of its area. I think we have to take into consideration that. On the specific issue, there were statements released by the Secretary General in this regard. We are going to follow up further. I know that we are further sending teams to try and get more information. But I think in as far as the current status, I will stick to what was already released from the Secretary General's perspective. I think in general lessons learned that we can just have is that we have to realize that in these situations, we have to be neutral because we are working in these volatile situations, and one has pressure. Some people want more and some want less. So
just one very brief follow-up on that. When you were here last year, you said that there had been no access by UN police or UNAMID to Jebel Mara since 2011. Is that still the case?
There was an entry to Jebel Mara recently. We are working on trying to sustain the process, but we had some visits to Jebel Mara in the meantime.
Thank you. Matthew, please.
No, I think
sorry, Stefan, go ahead.
Oh, I remember your question, and I also remember that we followed up, both with the mission and with the respective national authorities. What I will or cannot do here is I cannot speak for those authorities who have followed up, because as you know, we establish an administrative investigation in a situation of an alleged misconduct, and we come to administrative conclusions in relation to officers that either are seconded or contracted by us. The legislation and the applicability of the law of the sending country is not within our jurisdiction, and we have encouraged, as we always do, that there is a follow-up, and that this follow-up has been taken actively into account, the results of that, what we find. So forgive me, Matthew, if I'm very generic in this, because even if I would be in a specific case, having very precise knowledge, I certainly would not offer that here to the public, because I have also to respect the rights of individuals involved. So what we do in these situations is we transmit and we take internally into account the findings of our administrative discipline investigation that we do, and within the jurisdiction of the United Nations, we also take the consequences depending on the case. That may, for example, but this is not related to this case, but for example, lead to that we either would, for example, if these officers still work with us, will be repatriated, or that we would not allow them becoming a member of a future mission again. But again, the borderline of our jurisdiction is the jurisdiction of the sending state.